I'm back, and today we are going to try something called Encaustic, which basically, Encaustic is a mixture of beeswax and Damar resin. Now, normally I would show you my little bag of mix. Comes in pellets. If you want to buy it already mixed, it comes in these lovely little pellets, which you just melt and create some really cool artwork, in my opinion. So what I have here is an example of one of my pieces that I did. Obviously it's just some birds. These are ginkgo leaves. This is a piece of, I want to say that's hibiscus. And I believe at the time I painted it with some pink mica powder, although you can't really see the mica powder. You can't really tell it's mica powder through the wax. And then these are other scraps of what is referred to as ephemera. So it comes in these nifty little tubes, like so, and you just tear off what you want to use. It's super thin. This is actually some really nice stuff. It's actually archival, so which means that it's not going to deteriorate over time. So what I did was took a plain board, which is what I'm going to show you today, just a block of wood, and I covered the edges. Sometimes I cover the edges in masking tape or painter's tape. Today I did. Sometimes I just let it drip down and decide if I want to save it later, if I want to save the edges, because sometimes that kind of lumpy unfinished look is actually pretty cool. But just a cheap piece of wood. I think actually this one I cut in my workshop. So no, this one's got a sticker on the back, so duh, I did not. So these are about, I want to say these are 4x6 pieces. And then I've got these little tags. They're like Christmas tags, or, you know, I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want to with them. I think they're cool. They're nice small pieces, good little beginner pieces. This was also, actually I believe these were stickers, so not entirely, you know, they're not going to last probably 100 years, but I thought they were really cool. And then this, all this is, let me show you. It's just you rub it on, you cut the piece out, and then you flip it over, and you rub it on real well. Jewelry tattoo. So it's really meant for your skin, but it works great for this. You can also use stuff like napkins, and you just tear the napkins, you know, tear the parts out that you want to use. So these are two examples of some that I have done. The Encaustic has been used for many years. Goes back, you know, a long way. I'll have to give you some more education on it, because it's really pretty fascinating. And it'll certainly outlast our poor paintings. But here's some more examples. This one is some more of those transfers. Obviously, and then there's some blue in the background. I think hopefully you can see that. The blue is actually some oil pastels, which you can use to fill in any kind of, like, you can scratch into the wax and then color over it with the oil pastels, and then you wipe the surface off and it leaves just the color in the crack. So it's pretty neat. So we've got this one, and this one right here is just, it's actually a picture that I printed onto paper of a picture of the moon that I took, and it was really cool at the time because you could see like tree branches coming through there, but now you can't really see them, unfortunately. And this is just little Those are actually mica flakes. Yeah. So you can pretty much embed almost anything. And it has to really, you have to make sure first that it's going to be compatible with the wax. Because say I were to use a piece of paper that had sort of a waxy film on it already, it's not going to work. It's not going to soak up the wax. So it's not really going to embed in the wax. It's just going to be stuck in it. And eventually it will probably peel away and cause some major damage to your beautiful piece of artwork. So you have to watch out. This piece is, all it is I just drew the flowers when I was looking for something to draw just to experiment. So I just drew a few flowers, and then I took my oil pastels and I kind of very lightly colored over them. And this is this is ink on, I don't know what kind of piece of paper I did that on. Probably just like a tracing paper or tissue paper or something. This one I did quite a while back. So, but yeah, pen and ink works really well. Alcohol ink works really well. Another piece I did, these are little metal, they're little rings for jewelry. I embedded those. That works. And then this right here is just more pieces of the ephemera, just the paper. And actually, if you can tell on this one how shiny it is, I really don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'm trying to move it around so it'll catch the light. They do kind of, the wax will kind of get dull over time. I don't know if you can tell, unfortunately, but all you really need is a microfiber cloth, and you just circular, rub it on there, and then I don't know if you can see this. I hope you can, but it shines back up. So you can either leave it, kind of dull, or you can shine it back up. And then this is a piece I did. My actual favorite place on earth is a place called Edisto. And it was supposed to be, clouds in the sky, it's the sky, and then here's some water through there, and it was supposed to be sort of a tidal creek. You can kind of see it's kind of an abstract tidal creek, but I do like this piece. And the sort of brownish color that you see in here is actually shellac. You can do a shellac burn where you paint on a mixture of shellac and alcohol, and you wait for it to dry, and then you take a torch really quick to it, and it gives you this lovely sort of, almost like it's popped bubbles in between all the little lines. It's really cool. I will be showing you guys that if anyone is interested in watching Encaustic videos. I'll probably make a couple and see how they go. This was a photograph that I had taken that I just printed out on some paper, and then some pieces from a book. These pieces are from a book. The music is from like a music, whatever you want to call it, a music book. And then this right here, this was probably, like around the edges is definitely going to be the oil pastels, and I believe this is as well. No, actually this is painted encaustic medium with a little bit of mica powder in it, but I've discovered that the mica powder doesn't show up real well after you put another coat of the medium on there. So those are the examples of what we're going to do today. So I have my block here. I'm going to get these out of the way because I really don't want to drip or splatter any wax on any of these pieces. And so what I was thinking, I was just going to show you, I've already torn this piece out. Now, when you tear these out, I like to tear the edges instead of cut around it. It's less noticeable under the wax. So I think I'm just going to leave it like that with it hanging off the edges a little bit. Now, once I tear off the tape and stuff, it'll just tear right off. You can actually wet it down and tear it or rub it off. It comes off really easily. And then I think we'll put some kind of, just a little piece of this up in the corner, maybe. So So I'm just going to tear it. It won't really matter if I tear it off on this edge, but we're going to do that anyway. And always save your little pieces because you never know what you might want them for. So you're going to need, obviously, a block. You don't have to have the masking tape or the painter's tape, but like I said, I like to tape it off so it leaves a nice neat edge. Otherwise you have to scrape the wax off. And then your ephemera, whatever you want to put on there, or you can draw on with graphite pencil. You can draw on some tracing paper and then put the tracing paper down, and after you've put a layer or two of the wax down, you can just sort of rub it off onto your wax. You can't use tracing paper because tracing paper won't absorb the wax. So we will, I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of tear around the letters here. And my cat has been, both my cats, have been jumping up on the table all morning long trying to get this empty space on the table because it belongs to them apparently. And I have to keep shooing them away. Now things like cat fur and dog fur and dust, all that stuff will embed in your wax quite easily, so you have to be aware of that. And you also want to have a nice vented area, because if you don't, it's not healthy. The beeswax is fine. The Damar resin, inhaling that is not. I didn't tear this because I had a different idea for it before I saw it, but then I changed my mind. So we'll just put that kind of in the corner there, and maybe, I don't know. I'll take this little piece and just kind of, I don't know. No, I don't like that. I think maybe we'll just leave it like this and maybe use some oil pastel along the edges, possibly. We'll just see how it goes. And I don't have a whole lot of wax left. I can't find, this morning has not gone too well. I can't seem to find anything that I need. But I'm sorry for the floor creaking. I'm stepping right on where there's a joint, and so it's making a lot of noise. So what you're going to do first, obviously you want to move these out of the way. You want to make sure there's not any junk on your block of wood, because it will pick up things easily. You can either use a torch. It's better to use like a heat gun, but I don't have a heat gun at the moment, so we're just going to go with the torch. And you just want to kind of warm up your wood. It'll soak the wax up a little better. Now, I've done this plenty of times where I didn't warm up the wood because I wasn't thinking about it, and it seemed to work just fine. I didn't have any problem with it. But I was kind of hoping maybe to torch the edges a little bit. Maybe that'll come through a little bit on the finished piece. I don't know. I've never actually tried that before. Another point I want to make is, if you see this mat right here, it's a silicone mat. It is obviously heat resistant, so you want to have a silicone mat down underneath your work and underneath your encaustics, because you don't want that wax melting into your kitchen table. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. I have to be careful with my torch. I've lost the base to it. Actually, I didn't lose it. One of my children did. Okay, so then you're going to take your wax, and the kind of brush you're using is just one of those little cheapy bristle brushes you can get at Home Depot. Excuse me. Or one of the hacky brushes. Not sure if I'm saying that right. It's one of the Asian brushes. They're kind of, most of them are real wide, which works a little better for something like this. And then you're just going to brush it across. And you're going to let that dry. And you're going to, you can turn your block, but I think I'm just going to leave it like this for the minute because my palette right there is sort of in the way. And I'm going to explain to you in just a second what my palette is. Okay. Alright, so we're going to leave that. We're going to let that, actually I'm going to, you're kind of setting your wax. You're just going over it. You don't want it completely melting, but you want it to sort of kind of melt, actually, but not melt. The first, excuse me, I'm trying to get over being really sick. The first layer, if you melt it, it's not that big of a deal. But you got to be careful later on once you put your accoutrements into there. You want to be careful not to melt it because it'll move things around. So let's move over here to, this is just as you can see, it's Presto, just a economical version of a griddle. Got it from one of the big stores. And I have a thermometer that I have sitting here. I keep the wax around 200. If you turn it up too high, it will burn and it will smell really, really bad, and that is really not good for you. So like I said, I keep it around 200. Now you want to get a thermometer to set on there. I think this might have been just like a meat thermometer or something, and I took the stem of it off. But this little knob is not exactly accurate. So as you can see, I've got a lot of color on the palette there. Use these tiny little, cheap bristle brushes for little details if you want. And all my little tins, they're just, the bigger ones are, I'm not sure what they are, but you can use tuna fish cans. The little ones are like blueberry cans that you get in like blueberry muffin boxes, and they're perfect. And so you just you leave these all sitting here, you turn this on, let it warm up till it gets to be 200 and you can see everything's melted, and then you're ready to go. And then once you're done, you turn it off, make sure the critters don't get to it, and let it cool completely, and then you can just put it away just like this. It's super simple, and I always put my mat on top of it to keep any dust and junk from getting in there. So we've got one layer down. And I haven't actually done like a colored layer behind my birds here, so I'm not really sure if I want to, but because I really don't know what it's going to do to all the colors in the, not sure what it's going to do to the colors, but it looks like it needs, I don't know, I feel like it needs a different color other than the wood. I wish you guys could talk to me right now, because then I would ask. I don't know. So we could think about this sort of creamy, almost a dingy color. And this one's white. But the wax that I'm using, you can get different kinds of encaustic wax. You can get, and you can also make your own. You can buy just the beeswax and the Damar resin separately and make your own, and it's definitely more economical that way. I haven't done a lot with encaustic, so I just wanted to buy the actual mix to begin with, and I bought it from R&F. Apparently that's one of the best brands when you're doing encaustic. So if you want to try that first. I'm still, I'm staring at it trying to figure out, do I want to put that creamy white down or not. I'm really not sure about that. Okay. I'm not, I kind of like a little bit of burnt. I wish I had done more of it. But right now it's, you know, too late to do that. So, I don't know. Wow. I usually am, you know, I know what I'm going to do, and I don't really know what color this is, but it's got a lot of junk in it. Now sometimes when you, like I've left the junk in there, I don't know if you can see that, but I kind of like when I get a little bit in the wax, it just adds. You know, this medium you can add all sorts of things to, and it'll make it look kind of cool. So, but I think this is too close to the green. I wanted something sort of transparent, and that is a. If you're gonna do, you could do this on top. This is a. It's just got some blue mica powder in it. I'm not sure what that one is, so we're going to leave it alone since I don't have a paintbrush in it at the moment. Okay. And that's a pretty blue. I thought about doing the blue, but I'm not sure what the birds will look like with the blue underneath them. I don't know. And I don't have a lot of this left. Normally, you know, I would just keep doing layers of this, but I don't have much left. So I need to reserve it for the rest. Okay, let's just make a decision. Let's just make a decision. We're going to go with this one. Whatever it is, we're going to go with it. Because I just kind of like it. And I also use scraping tools, but for some reason my scraping tools have disappeared because I haven't done this in a long time. I apologize. This is not going to be like the best video because I'm not heavily prepared. For shame, right? And we're going to do another layer across the top again. I'm actually liking this color a lot. I hope it doesn't sort of mess up the my birds. So you can see there's a couple little specks in there. I really like that. I'm trying with Encaustic, you have to not want to be perfect, I think, because trying to be perfect does not work for me with pretty much any medium. So it's nice that Encaustic allows you to be not perfect. You just want to see sort of a shine to it, but not a puddle. And if you see, you know, little, because you'll see like little pin holes. Like if you don't, I keep saying like and my apologies. If you don't seal your wood with an Encaustic, kind of like a paint that's real gritty that helps the wax sort of grip it, your wood has air in it, obviously, and some of the air is going to come up through there. But I kind of like the pinholes. It gives it more texture. So we're kind of getting a nice coat to it. I think I'm going to do one more coat of whatever that weird green is. And if you pick up your, you know, pick it up and move it from time to time, then your wax will be more evenly coated. So we're going to do another layer of this one because I really like this color. And it cools off so quickly. Let's have a spot in that brush. Now, if you, like normally I would have a scraping tool, but I don't have one at the moment. For some reason it's disappeared. I have no idea where they've gone to. I'm going to have to search for them before I do another video. There is definitely, it's probably the black stuff that's causing me, There's a bulldog fur in there. Bulldog is my cat. He's my gray and white kitty, and he's amazing. He's beautiful. Okay, and I can kind of see like a dip in here, which is really irking me. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Okay. Now, if you have, you know, a spot that's really bothering you, you can kind of try and melt the wax a little bit and see if that will fix the problem. I hope I'm not sticking my head in the way here. Kind of turning my, probably shaking the table here. Didn't realize I was leaning on it, shaking it. Okay. So we'll just let that settle for a few minutes. Let it do its thing. I think, and I like what's going on behind it, the little bit of color back there. I thought I was gonna like take some of the oh, I can't speak today. Sorry. I thought I was gonna take some of the old pastels along the edge, but I think I like just subtle little bit of that, whatever that is. So we're gonna place this while the wax is still warm. It's not wet, it's just warm. And then we're just gonna press it down. Whew. And it is warm, so just, you know, be careful. But get it nice and pressed into the wax before the wax gets too hard. It's cooled off too much. And, you know, I'm going to put that other piece up here. So, if your wax, you know, gets a little too cool before you get to another part, then just take your torch just a little bit and warm it up. Just be careful not to touch your your paper here, because that will catch on fire very easily. Okay. I think my wax is still warm enough where I can lay that on there and yeah, that's adhering nicely. I feel like we need like something small over here, like super small. I don't know. None of this is really working for me. Name of remitter. We'll put that one in there. Okay. I think that'll do. All right. That'll work. Okay. And all this wax, if you don't, you know, have anything else sitting down on your silicone yet, you can pull this off and just put it back in your tin. Whoop, I'm pulling off the tape. Just put it back in your tin and it'll melt all over again and you can continue to use it. I hate to waste the wax because it's really expensive and it creates such beautiful colors. Okay, that's good enough. So now what we want to do is just cover this with a sort of a clear coat, I call it. And this one, I think I can only coat once or twice, and then this sort of starts to disappear a little bit too much. Yeah. So I think we'll do that. Okay, looks good, looks good. There's a little bit needs to go in that hole right there. Okay. And don't push your hand against that because that's a little hot. I think we'll actually, let's see, we went crosswise. I think we'll set it like this so I can go this way. It's a little easier. And I am about out of my this, my clear coat. Alright. And it goes on nice and clear, but then if you watch as it cools, it gets sort of opaque. So you have to keep that in mind when you're doing this. Take your time, watch what it's doing. And again, if you see an area you don't like, you can scrape it. What I have somewhere in this house, I believe, are some tools for clay, and those work awesome because they're real small. You can do tiny little things with them, like this area right through here. This is bothering me. So this right here I would scrape just a little bit off so that, because I don't know if you can see, but this area and that right here through here and this sort of almost like a line through here is a little more opaque than the rest of it. So if I had my scraper, I would scrape that a little bit. Now I can set this aside for the next month and I can come back to it, and then all I need to do is heat it back up and then I can scrape it again. You want to heat it a little bit before you scrape so the wax is nice and soft. Like right now would be a really good time because it's still nice and toasty, but it's not, you know, it's solid. So I'm trying to decide if I really want to use one of my, kitchen knives or not. Or maybe like a razor blade would work really well just to scrape it real lightly. I mean, you really could use a lot of different things. I'm just kind of looking around my kitchen at the moment, trying to see if I see anything. But you do want to leave this for a little while before you take off the tape. You want to have a nice edge to this. But once you take off the tape, I like to, not all encaustic artists do this, but I like to take my torch and just run it along the edge really quick, and it kind of softens up that edge. So, what do you guys think about encaustic? There's so many things that you can do with it. I've been watching pages on Facebook, and there's not a lot out there excuse me, about encaustic. There really isn't. So I think it's a really neat type of art. It really pushes you to use your imagination, I think. What I really want to do is draw and almost paint with the encaustic instead of just using the ephemera. I mean, I like these. They're cool. But you know, I would like to branch out a little bit. So you guys, let me know what you think about Encaustic, please. And so you can see like brush. I don't know if you can see the brush marks through here where the wax is not completely. It's mostly because I don't have hardly any wax in there, and so I didn't have enough on the brush. But I have to decide if I want to keep that or not. So this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Like I said, let me know if you like Encaustic. And you know, I'll do some more videos. And if you have any suggestions on what you might like to see, or definitely questions on the entire medium altogether, I might do another video where I'm just talking about what Encaustic is and all the different things you can possibly do with it. Maybe show you some examples. I don't know. I don't want to show other people's artwork because I don't want to get in trouble for that. So, but you know, you can look it up. So yeah, just let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later. Bye.